AITA for telling my stepsister it's not my fault my dad doesn't love her? My dad is married to a woman I'll call Melissa, and they've been married for 13 years. Melissa has a daughter, Sarah. I didn't live with my dad full-time growing up. My parents had shared custody but it was pretty flexible, so I'd spend on average 2 nights there a week and my dad would normally take me to dinner 1 evening a week. I have never had much of a relationship with Melissa but we've always been friendly. Sarah, on the other hand, has always been jealous of me and my relationship with my dad. Anything I was doing, she wanted to do, anywhere I was going with my dad, she wanted to come. My dad always handled it, but I was always aware that she was clearly unhappy when I was around. My dad and I spoke about this more than once, and my dad expressed that he found Sarah always expecting things from him a bit stressful and that he had brought it up with Melissa but it didn't seem to help. I haven't seen Sarah much in the last few years since I moved away, but I recently got engaged so my fiancé and I had dinner with my dad, Melissa, Sarah, and her fiancé to celebrate. My dad made a toast, and said he'd like to pay for the wedding. He then presented us with a check. I thanked him, but said we will be paying for the wedding ourselves. My dad said he wanted to contribute to our lives in some way, and my fiancé suggested we could put the money into a trust for our future child. We then continued on with the dinner. The next day, I got a call from Sarah, who said I should split the money my dad gave me for the wedding with her. I was confused and asked why, and Sarah said that my dad is a father figure to both of us. I told her if my dad wanted to give her money he would have and that it has nothing to do with me. Sarah started getting mad and said that I should share the money since I didn't need it. She swore at me, called me mean, spoiled, a gold digger, all sorts. Then she said it was my fault she never had a dad and I need to share the money and admit my dad is her dad, too. I was just getting so annoyed and said, "It's not my fault he doesn't love you, if you want money from him, ask him," and hung up on her. I guess he did ask him, because my dad called and got mad at me for blowing up on her, saying I didn't have to be that harsh with her. He said it's caused a lot of drama between him and Melissa and Sarah. He said I didn't have to respond to Sarah's goading, and maybe that's true but I don't think I'm the off for saying what he was too scared to, especially when I was being blamed for something that has nothing to do with me. Comment. Your stepsis clearly has some demons that are no one's responsibility but hers. I hope for the sake of her fiancé and future children that she deals with them. I'm also amused she called you a gold digger when she was the one who called you up and demanded you give her money. As for your father's troubles, this is something that he should have nipped in the bud a long time ago. I don't know where Sarah's father is or if he's alive or in her life, but it was never realistic on her part to expect your father to take his place, and that should have been made clear to her from the beginning. Maybe she should have been in therapy or something. Maybe, but Sarah clearly bet the farm on this relationship and is now annoyed it isn't the perfect father-daughter dynamic she wanted, which is no one's fault but her own expectations and wish for money. Assuming she was 11 or 12 when Op's dad came into the picture, honestly I'm not sure it's reasonable to assume he would immediately slot into the role as Sarah's dad, undoubtedly hurt by her expectation, and made more complicated due that we don't know what the situation with Sarah's dad is. Regardless, she is an adult now and isn't entitled to his money. I think that I've learned from this very subreddit that stepkids absolutely have the right to expect that of their step-parents. It's the other way around that's usually the problem. If you're not going to love the stepchild like they're your full child, don't marry their mom. What I've learned from this subreddit is that blended families are very, very complicated. Sometimes the parents don't want the step-parents to act as parents, sometimes the kids want to see the step-parent as a parent, sometimes they don't, and vice versa. A lot depends on age, whether there is another parent in the picture. Deciding what is equitable is very difficult. There have been cases where one child has 2 natural parents who have more money, and they get a car. A step-sibling may not have 2 parents, or they might not have as much money. So do the parents deny one child a car, or does the step-parent and their ex have to buy a car for the stepchild or for all their stepchildren? Is the stepchild to inherit from their step-parent's family? In that case, do their step-siblings inherit from the family of the stepchild's other parent? One man had saved a lot of money, from a settlement for a work accident as well as an inheritance. His ex demanded that he share with her 2 stepchildren and her additional bio-children. What does he owe them for being related to his children, but not to him? Honestly, your dad is the off for making a big deal of presenting you with a check in front of everyone. That was a total setup for you and Sarah given your history and a very self-aggrandizing way to go about what is otherwise a lovely and generous gesture. As between you and Sarah, I guess I'd say you're NTA only because she was so far outlined that I can understand why you pushed back. But it was still a really cruel thing to say. Next story 2. AITA for telling my girlfriend that she needed to apologize to my friend after she went off on her on a trip. This weekend, I took a little friend vacation with my close friend group. A few of them invited their SOS and I've been dating my GF now for a long enough time that I don't think it would be awkward to bring her along. So my GF gets along with all my friends very well excluding one. My friend Jessica is a very nice girl, and in a lot of ways is very similar to my GF. I think that this is just one of the cases where people who are similar just repel because on paper they should be very good friends. They aren't outwardly rude to each other, however it's clear they just don't vibe. So 3 things happened on this trip that lead to disaster. First, our day there we planned on going to the beach. While we were getting ready my GF told me she was feeling bloated and she forgot to pack a one-piece to wear. I told her we could just chill in the room and she said she wanted to go down to the beach but we should go buy one at the resort shop. On our way down we ran into Jessica and I told her we were going down to the shop to look for a new bathing suit. Jess then offered to let my GF borrow one of hers. My GF immediately rejected and said we'd buy one. We were at a bar drinking and dancing. Jess is only like 5 feet 5 inches and probably less than 130. She's also pretty much skin and bones, so she's a lightweight. Eventually she got pretty lit and was finding everyone and trying to get us to take a shot. When she got to us, I was down but my GF wasn't. I told her it'd be fun but she said no and Jess said we were being boring. So I just took a shot with Jess. This set her off. The finale issue was that next day me and my GF were late for breakfast because we were getting intimate and lost track of time, which was wrong of us. So apparently, Jess said she'd come get us and as she walked past our door she heard zoo noises and then she went back down to everyone else and said that we were occupying each other and maybe a minute. When we got downstairs, the group was cracking jokes which I thought was NBD. Then they said Jess heard us which my GF got mad. This was apparently the straw that broke the camel's back. My GF snapped on her and told her that Jess has been being catty to her all trip and she's been just trying to have a good time. She told her to stop being such a pick bitch to her. This caused Jess to cry. I told my GF she needed to apologize to her and resolve whatever beef they have. My GF said that Jess needs to apologize to her for acting like she did and that I'm being a dick for taking her side. We've been fighting about this since we got back and things are now awkward with Jess. My friends are split on this as some think that my GF was being overboard while some think she may have had a point, which I don't understand. AITA. Comment. I gotta say, I don't get why you think your GF was the sole issue and owes Jess an apology. It seems like you're looking for blame. Not everyone is comfortable borrowing a bathing suit from someone. I've heard people say it's similar to wearing someone else's underwear, so there's an ick factor. She's entitled to not be pressured to do a shot. Not everyone thinks it's fun. And, drunk people pressuring others to do shots is boring. She heard zoo noises and then she went back down to everyone else and said that we were occupying each other. That is gross of Jess. GF's reaction may have been more intense than necessary, but I don't agree that Jess wasn't problematic. Other people pointed out that he said Jess is just skin and bones and he said his girlfriend is normal weight. That is, Jess knows that her bathing suit wouldn't fit his girlfriend. Or for her to wear it, so Jess can point out how much tighter it is on Op's girlfriend. I'm just so tiny. Ditzy me, thought we were the same size. Cue other friends telling her she's YAAI smaller than Op's GF. Yeah. She's a pick-me girl FO show. Disagree. We don't know enough about Jess to make this claim and a lot of things actually fit different body types surprisingly well. For instance, my tall skinny partner wears the same shirt size as me even though I'm 9 inches shorter than him and about 30 pounds heavier. I would offer a bathing suit to someone without really thinking about it because I buy bathing suits from the racks of clothing that have small/medium/large sizing rather than specific ranges of measurements, and there's quite a range of people that a medium one piece fits on. This however doesn't mean that Up isn't the asshole, because it's clearly something that upset his girlfriend, and instead of stopping to find out why, if she interpreted it as all these comments are saying, whether that asks Jess's intention or not, she has a right to be upset, he automatically took Jess's side. They built up a narrative that they want to be true and I'm contradicting it, I guess. I don't mind much. People like to be opinionated on the Be Opinionated subreddit. I also think that we shouldn't read too much into the weight difference between Jess and the girlfriend as described by the boyfriend, because as people have pointed out, 130 pounds for an average height woman is not exactly skin and bones, so his perspective may not even be reliable here for us to make judgments of bathing suits not fitting.